Welcome to the Life Doula Podcast, where we explore unconventional ways to navigate life's journey and create meaningful connections. I'm your host, Charity Marohombsar, and in today's episode, we're diving into this intriguing concept of living life backwards. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to rewind the video of your life and watch it play out in the reverse? Or start your life from the end and build your plans with the end of your life in mind? Today, we invite you to join us on a thought-provoking exploration of living life in reverse and uncovering the hidden treasures that lie in reflecting on our past to shape our present and our future. From deep introspection to the art of appreciating the present moment, living life backwards challenges us to rethink the way we perceive time, growth, and the essence of our journey. So grab your cup of tea or coffee, find a comfortable corner in your home, and let's embark on this fascinating journey of introspection, inspiration, and intentional living. Get ready to discover the transformative power of turning life's timeline on its head. To begin, I want to give credit to the author of the book Living Life Backwards by David Gibson. And if you want a detailed walkthrough, I invite you to get a copy of the book. The basis of this masterpiece is lifted from the book of our Master and King in the book of Ecclesiastes. I want to extend an invitation that you open your mind and your heart to this whole concept of living life backwards. This invitation is coming from someone, yours truly, who wished very deeply that I had learned this a little early in my life. And I will ask your permission that we will talk about hard things we would rather not talk about. This unconventional outlook, I promise you, will create a huge significance in the way you live your life. Everything about this principle, living life backwards, totally resonated with me and my life work and all of the things I truly believe, my advocacies. When I was reading the book, I was telling myself I could replace the stories of the people in the book and it would be my life story. The 3 lessons I will share with you today from my own lens was beautifully explained by the author David Gibson. Now, imagine taking the one thing in our future that is certain, death, and letting that inform your journey before you even get there. Isn't it ironic? The end of our life, meaning death, guiding the way we live our lives. Living life backwards for me is more than just unconventional. It is almost revolutionary. And the reason why this totally resonated with me is this was one of my biggest epiphanies battling with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer in 2016. When I was staring death right in the face, uncertain of how much time I have left, I suddenly was able to have this profound insight of how I will live my life. Death was at the door and I was running against time. These three things which David Gibson expounded so well in his book became the pillars of my life. Number one, the concept that life is best lived by thinking about death as reflecting on our own mortality helps us prioritize what truly matters. Now let that simmer. Living life backwards means embracing that death is not the end, but a glorious beginning. And I will tell you why. At the age of 49, I thought I was at the top of my game. I had a great career, earning a 7-digit salary, enjoying the perks one could ever ask for as an executive. And still, I thought there were so many things missing. I was chasing many goals I was working towards to achieve. The scorecards, the wildly important goals was all that mattered. I felt my life was at a full speed, and because I was good at what I was doing, I was unstoppable. And one day, despite an annual executive checkup, cancer happened, not stage 1 or 2, but stage 4, metastatic breast cancer. No guarantee for when the chemo will end. No guarantee for cure. Death was almost palpable. Not knowing how much time I have left, I look at the many things I wanted to do, and with a flick of a finger, every single one of these things fell in the sideline, and my priorities changed. All of a sudden, only 4 things mattered. 1, to make amends and build a deeper relationship with God. Number 2, to live and to survive. Number 3, to spend as much time as I can with family and people I love. 4, to serve God with whatever time I have left. All of a sudden, I realized I can live a simple life. No wants, just what I need. The sudden awareness of my mortality prompted me to reevaluate my priorities and rethink my definition of what a fulfilling life is about. And at that moment, whatever energy I have, I spent it with my family, with my closest friends, rekindled what I was truly passionate about, teaching and serving people. In this book, the author David Gibson demonstrates how contemplating death can serve as a wake-up call, prompting us to reassess how we spend our time and energy. It can help us recognize that there is more to life than just status, money, and achievements. By acknowledging our mortality, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the simple pleasures in life and prioritize the things that truly brings us happiness. By recognizing the transitory nature of life, we can learn to appreciate and really savor each moment we have. Here's my analogy. This is how I look at life. This is point A and this is point C. Every one of us starts at point A and we all want to get to point C. I was fixated to the point C. I used to worry about the future. This point C that I really obsessed with the things that I need to make sure My future and my family's future is secured. Along the way, when things don't go my way, I complain. So life then was about getting from point A to point C, fixated on the destination. So I totally missed the journey. Does this resonate with you? But going through the cancer journey myself and being at the front seat, seeing how cancer patients suffer, witnessing how the others progressed with their illness, I began to realize the preciousness of life and the countless blessings I overlooked. It was at this point when I learned to practice gratitude at a granular level, thanking God for things I would normally not even thank Him for, like thanking Him that I could drink water. Some cancer patients cannot even swallow a drop of water. In the morning, being part of his wake up list made me kneel on the floor every single morning, thanking him for the gift of being awake, for the gift of being in his wake up list. This totally redefined what joy and contentment means. This is the gift of contemplating death that can be very transformative in our lives. It pushes us to think deeply about our values, our priorities, ensuring that we make choices aligned with what truly matters to us. By recognizing the fleeting nature of life, we can seize every opportunity to live fully, love deeply, and make a positive impact on those around us. The key to a fulfilling life is not in chasing after pleasure and success, but in cultivating deep relationships and living a lasting legacy. I was a breadwinner at a young age of 23, both for my immediate family and for my mom and my siblings. So my measure of success was how much I could save up to provide for them. I was conditioned that happiness lies in acquiring more things to make their lives comfortable, achieving a higher status, and indulging in luxury. Achieving goals after goals, the feeling of happiness does not last very long. In fact, it left me tired and exhausted because I was feeling like every time I reach a goal, I reach a mountain. But as I reach that mountain, I am set to climb the next one. The endless pursuit left me empty. The author David Gibson challenges this narrative, arguing that these momentary pleasures are fleeting and ultimately unsatisfying. He reminds us that we are social beings, wired for connection and community. We are desired to form meaningful relationships, and it is within these connections that we find true joy and fulfillment. In the middle of my own cancer journey, I started forming cancer communities, and I met so many strangers who became friends, who in the end became like families. And in these communities, I started serving people from where I was, sick, in pain, and also struggling, meeting them where they are. And the simple act of service, of being with them during chemotherapy, or joining them when they take their scans, holding their hands while waiting for the results, and just being a quiet presence turned out to be one of the most fulfilling things in my life. I then realized that true joy comes not from what we possess or achieve, but from the impact we have on others and the connections we cultivate. Again, Gibson's message totally resonated with me. The pursuit of pleasure and success alone will never lead to a truly fulfilling life. It is in the cultivation of deep relationships and the creation of lasting legacy that we find meaning and purpose we seek. Let us take this message to heart and prioritize what truly matters: our relationships and the impact we can make in the world. I remember a cancer patient whom I became friends with, battled with cancer for 8 years. And in those 8 years, many times his oncologist encouraged him to stop working so he can focus on treatment and time with family. As his cancer progressed, he made this painful decision to retire from work. But days after retirement, literally like 2 to 3 days, someone replaced him. Work went on, the business went on, while he was scrounging to fit in his remaining days and weeks to be with his family. Do you see the irony? We hold on to things in life which later on does not really matter. This is just one of the many stories I witnessed that really made me shift. I now value impact more than whatever measure of success I was conditioned to. The third principle, embracing the reality of our mortality, allows us to live with greater purpose and meaning and gratitude in each moment. You see, death and dying was something I feared even as a child. Thinking about it immobilizes me. But confronting death back in 2016 was one of the areas in my life where I experienced what I called a breakthrough. Getting a stage 4 diagnosis felt like my life was shot at midair. And death, which I feared the most, I had to live with it in my head every single day. I went from avoiding it and slowly sitting with it and running towards it. The prospect of dying while all my children were just about to experience the world as growing teens sent me on my knees to really beg God for more time with my children. And his thought-provoking response was, "Granting I will add more years to your life, how will you live your life differently?" This jaw-dropping response allowed me to pivot 180 degrees, and I changed the course of my life. Made major decisions to leave the corporate life, which I held on so tightly. And for the first time, I was no longer driving my life. I became a follower, and I realized I only had one purpose, and that is to follow what my God wants me to do. And it led me to what I am doing now and what I have been doing the past 7 years. Serving Him by helping and guiding people navigate their cancer journey, empowering and instilling hope, shifting their fears to faith, embracing my own mortality, led to a deeper sense of meaning and purpose. When we confront the reality that our time is limited, it becomes clear that we must make the most of the opportunities we have. Rather than simply going through the motion or pursuing superficial goals, we are motivated to live with intention, pursuing those things that bring us true fulfillment and happiness. When we fully embrace mortality, we are able to live each day with intention, appreciate the present moment, and cultivate the gratitude for the precious time that we have. These principles may seem so ideal, but this is real. This offers another way of approaching life, which I invite you to reflect on and consider. Do not wait for you to be in the same circumstance that I was in 8 years ago. You can reflect on this now and hopefully take some actions to pivot. Reflecting on living life backwards brings about key takeaway points. Number one, the importance of reflecting on our own mortality, understanding that life is finite and that we do not have unlimited time can serve as a powerful motivator. Evaluate your priorities and spend times on things that matters most. Number two, cultivate a sense of gratitude at any time, recognizing the blessings and opportunities in our lives can help us appreciate the present moment and find contentment. Number three, remember the significance of community and relationships. Cultivating genuine relationships can bring immense joy and contribute to a meaningful and fulfilling life. Number four, encourages us to live with a purpose and intention. It doesn't have to be big. We can identify our values and set meaningful goals that aligns with our values as opposed to just letting life happen. Appreciate the journey rather than fixating solely on the destination. And by savoring each one, we can find joy and satisfaction even in the midst of life's challenges. As we come to the conclusion of our podcast, the invitation I asked you earlier is the same invitation I ask you now. What if it is death that teaches us how to truly live? Keeping the end in mind shapes how we live our lives in the here and now. Living life backwards means taking one thing in our future that is certain, and that is death, and letting that inform our journey before we get there. Considering the reality of death helps us pay attention to our limitations as human beings and receive life as a wondrous gift from God, freeing us to live wisely, generously, and faithfully for God's glory and the good of His world. This is the main message of Ecclesiastes in a nutshell. Life in God's world is a gift, not gain. One day, things that are important to you, working, goals, the travel plans, the investments you want to make, chasing after the big dreams, knowledge, and wisdom will all cease. So do them while you can now. In my work as an end-of-life doula, dying people who truly know they are dying are among all people who are most alive. They are not here to live forever. They are here to live for now, for today. And most of all, they are here to live with and for others. You see, a life lived in this way looks like this: ride a bike, travel to see places you want to see, wherever it is, watch that play, learn pottery, visit the sick, take time to be with a friend, care for the dying, cook a meal for someone, feed the hungry, watch a film, read a book, laugh with some friends until it makes you cry, play football even if you don't know how to, run a marathon if that's what you want, snorkel in the ocean, or watch a BTS concert live. Yay! Spend time with your parents if they are still here. Write letters to your loved ones. Play board games with your kids. Spend your money wisely. Learn a language, build a community, start a school. Speak about Christ and the God that you believe in. Travel to somewhere you've never been to. I don't know, adopt a child. Give away your fortune and then some. Shape someone else's life by laying down your life. By reflecting on our mortality, appreciating the present moment, and living with intention, we can create a life that is meaningful and fulfilling. In the beginning, I told you that this was an unconventional approach to life, living life backwards. I started with an invitation to reflect, and I will end with an invitation for you to chew this and see where life living backwards will make profound and transformative changes in your life. Thank you for watching another episode of the Life Doula Podcast. If these topics resonate with you, please share them with your friends or loved ones and subscribe to the Life Doula Podcast. We are both on YouTube and Spotify, and we will see you in the next episode. In the meantime, keep the faith, heal strong, and try to live life backwards.